Welcome to the European Challenger Series of 2015. This is week 3, day 1. It's Reason Gaming versus Gamers 2. My name is Jeeves and I'm here casting with Archarom.
Hello guys, I do hope you guys are hyped about this game, Reason Gaming versus Gamers 2. I'll be your play-by-play caster and let's see what we have today. So, Gamers 2 will skip a ban, obviously, and Reason Gaming already pulled out Cassiopeia.
Yeah, so again, this is the 5.4 patch. If you've seen last game, I've already mentioned that Kassadin is not really that pick or ban state. So people will be skipping out on that one. So it will just be a Cassiopeia ban so far. I wonder if there are going to be any flex pick bans from games 2 just because they have a lot of ban. It's always good to just ban out the flex pick so you can target as much as possible on the enemy team. Anyway, second ban will be the Nidalee, so we will not see that in the jungle this game. She's been really dominant so far.
And that Rod of Ages has been completing, well, the power spike that Nidalee can achieve in the jungle. So more and more we see Nidalee coming either in the mid lane, either in the jungle. It doesn't matter whatsoever. You get a really good power spike and siege as a jungler.
Yeah, so apparently 2 loss of bans. Unfortunately, we don't have too much information about this, so we cannot really talk about that, unfortunately. So 2 bans they have to skip apparently, maybe even 3 bans you'll have to see. But it is kind of weird because you do get those loss of bans. It will not just hurt the team that has the loss of bans, but it will also hurt Reason Gaming in this case because, you know, you have to adjust your banning phase in that regard. And Cannon be going to be the last ban, and we don't actually see that Cannon ban often.
But it makes sense more and more often. He goes into the top lane now with the Slicing Maelstrom buff, let's call it buff or rework if you would like to say that. You can just stack those passives really fast, popping up the W as well, and my goodness, the damage that that little squirrel can bring into the team fight is absurdly good. It's like a Teemo with a ninja suit.
And Lissandra is going to be the first pick. So again, Lissandra left open this game and it immediately gets instantly locked in by Q1. So I would expect that will go to Q1. Can still go towards the mid lane, of course. Take Fun has also good stats on it. But now Zed is also a champion that is left open. So Smithy will be insta locking that one as well for the Lee Sin for Gilius.
And he didn't even thought about that one. He just picked Zed and locked in after Alessandra. So if they want to give vision, if Reason Gaming tries to get vision of where Zed is going and pick Lissandra versus Zed, Zed is not going to have the easiest matchup. So let's see if Cubon is going to stick with Lissandra or if he's going to take fun that Lissandra and pick another thing to the top lane. Because we do have, there we go, Irelia is still open, Maokai is still open, Gnar is still open. So we have a lot of picks available for the top lane. And if they want, they can try and counter that Zed.
Yeah, so Lissandra is already a way of countering Zed because you do have that instant Zhonya's on yourself with that Frozen Tomb to negate all the damage from the Death Mark. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that Lissandra would be going towards the mid lane and ready to the top lane. Now Kalista locked in, also left open, so that is going to Saliver. He really likes that champion. He also shows a really good performance on that one, so not surprised that we'll be going towards the second rotation of Reason Gaming as well for Aurelia. Of course, very safe first pick. She deals damage, she can be tanky, and she's just a really dominant force in this top lane.
And Morgana is still open. If they want to complement that Kalista with Morgana to give the black shield and try to help her. And Janna's still open as well versus Zed.
And also the Annie actually, because you know...
Or not.
Kalista and Annie is one of the strongest lanes at the moment, but it looks like Games 2 will be locking in Jinx and Janna, so they do want that late game hyper carry Jinx that can just auto attack from very, very long range once she has her Q maxed, which will be shifting over towards the cannon and the minigun as well for having additional AD on that and an AoE auto attack basically with the cannons. Oh, no, they actually go back towards the Corki, so they do want that mid-game power that where once Corki hits the Trinity Force that can easily force turrets and dragons.
I was actually thinking about this one. If they brought Jinx as an AD carry, as a super and mega AD carry in the late game, they would actually need Morgana in the top lane to give the shield on towards Jinx, so she could survive that double shield, Janna and Morgana, and still have some magical damage on the setup. But they are going to pick Corki to at least have someone giving magical damage, and Maokai is still open to the top lane if they want to complement the magical damage and the tankiness as well. So they are not forced to bring Morgana versus Irelia, and Salavar may lock down the Thresh and maybe a Rek'Sai.
Yeah, we would still not be surprised if that would be Morgana top lane. We've seen it done before by Team Liquid where they would run the Janna and the Morgana on top of the Jinx, and it worked out really well for them. Keith was able to actually clean up most of these fights. Now Rek'Sai actually goes all the way to one of the last picks for Reason Gaming. So Reason Gaming take the Rek'Sai and the Thresh, something that Libic is really fond of. So it is going to be a Thresh Kalista lane. We don't see it as often, but a hook at least will secure a couple of these auto attacks, so it should be easy rand stacks in order to get extra damage down as well. Thresh has auto attack ranged auto attacks, so proccing that passive will not be that hard either from the Sentinel, the W of the Kalista, when you're soulbound.
I was expecting the pony. I really wanted to talk about the pony.
That would have been so fun.
Because there's a really interesting feature between Archarom and the Elixir of Iron, because you get that movement speed, ridiculous movement speed on Archarom, and if you bring the Elixir of Iron, you are going to leave a trail behind you that speeds your team members by 50%. So Archarom is going to give a lot of movement speed to your team. It's like a Severe 2.0 when you buy that Elixir of Iron, but they are going to lock down that... Rumble, I completely froze that. Sorry, Lissandra power. But Rumble is going to be picked into the top lane for Smitty J.
Yeah, so a Rumble pick with a very, very low lockdown in your lineup. Yeah, okay, Rumble is just a strong laner overall because he has a lot of damage in his kit, just on his base damage, and his equalizer is always good to catch people out of these choke points in the jungle, but Rumble is kind of a harder pick if you don't have any type of lockdown. For instance, the Cataclysm or maybe a Frozen Tomb from Lissandra, because that champion went to Reason Gaming. So it's going to be a little bit more awkward to actually get these good equalizers down. But it will also give Smitty a lot of props in order to get these good equalizers. So I really wonder how that is going to work out. Games 2 more have a bit of a win lane win game composition with the Lee Sin in order to secure that early game. As long as they can get the Zed or the Rumble rolling, then they should be fine and actually be able to force these turrets together with that mid game of the Corki.
And we need to see the similar spells when we go into the game, because we don't have that kind of vision. When they finish the champion select, they are able to at least swap the spells, because we jump into this image of the Challenger Series before we see them jumping into the game. And
awesome logo.
Yeah, that awesome logo, and it's everything as it was. Double exhaust, ignite as well for the mid laners, and on top laners the TP, so we won't get full this time. Well, I won't get full this time, because...
And an immediate pause. It's even better. It's even better. Let's hope this will be the only pause of the game. Wow, I actually struggled there too. We had a good bit of words today, aren't we? Archarom? English can be hard sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's hope this will be the only pause of this game. Just get these fixes going and then not be bothered with these pauses, because if there's something that really is annoying about these games, it is the pauses. It even happens on stage and it's just not fun to watch, is it?
Well, thank you. Maybe we can skip this one if this takes too long.
Maybe we can, but it also gives us a nice opportunity to actually talk about these lanes and how they want to play this one out, because Reason Gaming, they've got a pretty good scaling composition where you have these awesome catches with Aurelia and Rek'Sai as well, for having that very strong late game AD carry on the Kalista. And Gamers 2, they really have a heavy mid game focused composition. And I really wonder if they can pull it off correctly, because they do need the objectives in the mid game, forcing those in order to stay ahead, so they can actually scale towards that late game.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how the mid lane will go out between Take Fun and Aika. Aika is a really aggressive player, and bringing the Z is going to try, and there we go, the end pause. Thanks, guys. And Aika will try to kill Lissandra really fast in the early game. Maybe level 3 and all-in by Z on the mid lane is accomplished.
Yeah, Aika definitely needs the early dominance over the Lissandra. However, this is still a hard lane matchup for a Z, because you do have that ice shard that can just continuously poke you when you're playing the Z, and you're just like kind of forced to stay in the back and just farm with your shurikens. Ooh, that ice shot was really close, but Aika will receive a couple auto attacks, and shuriken was also really close to hitting. So I'm actually expecting Gilius to get a lot of pressure towards his mid lane, just to get Aika going, to get him to roam towards the other lanes and just get all these kill pickups.
There you go. The Sentinel is going to spot Jeebus. They may try to get the Krogs on the bot lane. Since they brought the W as the first item, they will not have the render available to at least kill the Krogs. Salavard taking a quick pick, and that quick pick is going to deal some damage. The Eye of the Storm is available, and I would like to see if Gamers 2 or Reason Gaming are going for that early level 2 with the jungle, but I don't think so.
And also, I see a lot of Kalista players actually going for the Sentinel on level 1 just to be able to scout out the enemy jungle or just get some extra vision down. As well, for having that level 1 proc together with your support, where you will deal additional damage on 12% of the maximum health of your enemy. So that's a big chunk already if both you and your support can get an auto attack off on the same target.
Oh, aggressive by Salavard, and he's going to get the Foster's Bomb, half HP completely removed, so Lebec will try to use the Relic Shield and sustain his AD carry. That's the only thing you can do as a Thresh to sustain your AD carry. So Shayo starting the jungle without any assist whatsoever.
Yeah, Rek'Sai is still able to do that. She does have a bit of sustain when she burrows in, where her Fury will go into her HP. And she has decent damage onto these camps. She can really easily clear those, and at least it will be all the laners being able to be in the lane instantly, so they will not be losing out on harass or farm. But that wasn't really the case for Reason Gaming, where we saw Salva actually get chunked out immediately, but now there's the level 2 engage from Reason Gaming.
But the Death Scent is not connecting by an inch, and finally though, Shayo is going to skip the red buff, going straight for the Raptors and maybe completing the jungle at the blue buff using the smite. No, he's coming back.
Yeah, so he's actually saving his buffs to last in order to have these buffs for when he's going to gank. But in the meantime, Gilius is clearing his own jungle right now. He is getting his blue buff, and he might just go for these level 3 ganks. However, he's dropping quite low, so maybe he will go back first. But Lee Sin just really shines in these early levels where he has a lot of damage as well for a good gap closer with that safeguard, and just have a lot of influence in lanes.
But the level 3 aggression in the mid lane is on the other side. Jeebus will Valkyrie away, and Aika is receiving the aggression on the mid lane, as you were telling us about. Take Fun pulling out the ignite in the mid lane and forcing Aika really low. He already chunked down the 3 potions he brought into the lane, so he's forced to go back.
Yeah, however, he did get the ignite from Take Fun, so maybe will be a bit more pressure from Gilius in this mid lane. See if they can get that all in going once that glacial path is down, so the instant escape will not be there when they can get that ignite down. As many actually taking or receiving quite some damage from that Aurelia pick, and yeah, I think, at least in my opinion, Rumble will be struggling against the Aurelia pick just because you have that stun and you are quite squishy as a Rumble. And I'm actually wondering what Cubot is leveling now. Great, that sends out to Jeebus.
Oh, Jeebus is going to Valkyrie away at the last possible second. That could be the first play, and that was a beautiful death sentence by Libic.
Yeah, so they force out 2 summoners, the exhaust and the heal. Now Libic, of course, uses his exhaust way earlier when they went aggressive on that level 2. And now as well for Zio, it's not quite done in this bot lane. They want to get more pressure down in order to buy some more time to actually go for this dragon, so they engage it. And there's no vision from Gamers 2 on this bot side rhythm.
Talking about no vision, Gilias may try to steal the blue buff. No, he's not even going to check it out. And the render and the smite is a really fun way to bring down the dragon at the 5th minute. There we go, first dragon of the game conquered for Gamers 2. Well, for Reason Gaming, but I believe Gamers 2 got the vision of the dragon because Q1 was in sight range for Smitty J.
Q1 is maxing his Heaton style first. I'm still not quite sure about the pronunciation. There are a lot of opinions on it. But the Heaton style. Oh, there is actually the ignite from Aka. Can he get this flash last hit?
Ooh, the flash shuriken is not enough for the first blood. But meanwhile, on the other side of the jungle, Smitty J will try to assist Shayo. Well, Julius was trying to secure double buff, and there we go. The Sonic Wave just missing by a few pixels. And Zed was near the blue buff, so they could try and contest, but they're going to give it away.
Q1 receiving quite some damage, and yeah, like I said, the Heaton style being maxed by Q1, so he's not going for the longest stun where you would max your equilibrium strike first and have a longer opening to deal free damage. I personally am a bigger fan against squishy champions to max your equilibrium strike first, or maybe choose to have that longer stun in order to escape more easily. So Q1's still going for the full damage in this lane, and just wondering how that's gonna work out, because Zayo needs to be there then in order to have good kill pressure on this rumble.
But Eika is rotating to the top lane, the equalizer is ready, they also have the death mark, and he's going to give up because Takefun is already in the mid lane pushing. As long as Zed is not in the mid lane, well, Lissandra is going to push the lane and try to bring him back. You were telling us in the early game that Aiko will try to roam, and I believe Takefun is trying to counter that.
Yeah, well, he would be roaming if he would have a clear lead. Now that he almost killed Takefun, he is feeling quite confident, and there's the second pulse. Oh, I was hoping so much that there would be a second force, but we'll just talk through it. And yeah, now Takefun is actually showing up really aggressive because he knows we are both level 6, and if AK uses his death mark, I can just use Frozen Tomb on myself, or even on him, because level 1 death mark doesn't deal as much damage. As well for AK, just sitting on a Doran shield and a longsword, so he's really lacking that damage, and he actually went for the Doran shield in order to get the reduction on attacks, auto attacks and spells. And now that the Doran shield is finally fixed, but will also reduce the damage from spells, it is actually a good pickup against mages. Yeah,
and there we go, the pause will be unpaused. Takefun bringing the double Dorans, and the Seekers Guard completed on the top lane, so Rama will at least sustain himself a little bit more. He won't receive as much damage as he used to, even though the Ethan style is being leveled up in the first place, as you told us. So more true damage coming out from that Irelia, so the Seekers Guard are not going to help him much versus that true damage.
Yeah, at least he will be blocking some, because maybe Smithy expects the Equilibrium Strike max first, and that he didn't really notice the longest stun yet, because the early levels of the Equilibrium Strike are not that noticeable. But once it hits like level 4 or 5 on the Equilibrium Strike, then you will really notice that, okay, this Equilibrium Strike isn't max because it's like a closer to 2-second stun. Now instead of going aggressive onto Jeebus, and Jeebus is even quite some damage with the Ren. Now Gideon has a meet up with Zayo.
He's going to kick Shayo away. They are both really low. The Queen will connect the Q, and Missy is forced to run away. The Death Sentence on the bot lane, however, will bring Jeebus back into Living, but the flail does not connect. And Celabar, however, finishing those Berserker Grips, giving more attack speed and a longsword as well. Doing wonders on the bot lane versus the Spark on the top lane. Smitty J receiving that true damage and now realizing, oh, okay, this is not the damage by the Equilibrium Strike, this is true damage.
Yeah, so maybe he would have wished that he went for Dawn. Oh wait, he already has a Dawn Shield. What am I even talking about? Wow. But maybe he would wish that, like, okay, I wish I went for the Ruby Crystal now instead, or for the Haunting Guard, because it gives me more health. So it also gives me better resistance against true damage. Now Smithy goes for the overheated Flame Spitter, and again these death sentences are really on point from Libic.
Celabar is going to bring Thresh back with the Fate's Call, but he's not going back, and Libic is going to counter that ward near the bush. And the bot lane of Reason Gaming are doing a heck of a job.
Yeah, even though they got that level 1 poke onto Celiver, I was like, okay, maybe they got this one in the pocket. But then Reason Gaming was able to turn it around on the level 2 aggression when they hit the level 2 first over the duo lane of Gamers 2. And now, so far, I do have to say the junglers have not been that influential. Everyone is still 0-0-0. And knowing Lee Sin, he really shines in the early game, and he's level 6 now, and I would expect Gilius to be ready to start making plays with maybe an insect kick.
And the sec is ready, is going to secure yet another blue buff. So not giving the blue buff into the ninja in the mid line. Well, the ninjas actually use the blue buff quite well, because it's going to reduce some cooldowns, it's going to give you more energy as well. And listen, is going to get that blue buff, and I was going to get locked down in the mid lane. Echo, however, will give the first blood to take fun. There's no death mark, that's only the ignite giving some damage. And Lissandra escaping with just some HP, but still securing the blue buff.
Yeah, as we mentioned before, Dawn Shield, Aka's just sitting on the Dawn Shield and a longsword. Now he picked up his Brutalizer, but when he died, it was only just one longsword, so his damage was really lacking. As well, level 1 Death Mark doesn't deal that much damage, so Takefun can just easily use the Frozen Tomb onto Aka just to blow him up together with Zio, and that was the case as well. So they take that easy kill in his mid lane. Now Gilius joins in the top lane.
There we go, the flash is set, but the missile is not going to connect. Transcendent Blind's giving some sustain, however, and Cubone lives to tell the story.
Yeah, Cubone can say, and there was this weird thing that came from the sky, like burning the whole ground and stuff, and man, that was some dope stuff, man.
And then came a guy and said, good.
And then he kicked me further in towards the lane, man, and then I was still able to get there, but that sentence lands onto Eva.
That sentence is awesome, and Eva is going to use the Monsoon, but the Fate's Call will bring Libic behind her, not knocking Jaina away. But look at this, Takefun. He's on the bushes, he's waiting for it, but will he get it? No, he's going to use the claw to go back, because on the mid lane, Aka is pushing like a madman.
Only if that Fate Calls hit. Only if they got the knock up onto Eva, then they would have had the kill there. But yeah, like I said, Ika is now pushing really hard in his mid lane, and Reason Gaming is interested in this dragon. Now, can they get this one though? They are facing 4 champions. Smithy joins in his bottom lane, a Q-on. No teleport, still sitting in the top lane.
There's the death sentence, there's the box as well on Chivas, but they won't be able to follow this one up because there's 4 members on the bot lane. Well, 5 members, because even Smitty J came to the bot lane. He has a teleport available, he can go back, he can buy something, and returning to the top lane. Let's see what he will buy, because that turret receiving some damage by Cubone, it will be the penetration boots.
Yeah, the sorcerer shoe, so that we were giving a little bit of extra damage on his spells onto Cubone. Cubone doesn't have any type of magic resist yet, but it's just so good for Smitty. Now Takefun is in his top lane as well.
Try to stop him, but he's locked in, and Smitty J will go down to Takefun. Beautiful play by Reason Gaming.
Yeah, it's just perfectly executed. It was easy, just path in with the claw, as Kobe likes to call it. Just get the ult down, and it was just like a simple kill pickup. And yeah, the teleport immediately cut off. It's like, okay, you're teleporting back into his lane? Fine, we'll just kill you again. Just walk the next time.
So he's going to be forced to walk back into the line, and he won't be able to buy anything whatsoever. Talking about this month, Gamers 2 will secure the mid turret. This will be the first turret of the game, coming up at the 30-minute mark.
Yeah, so it's not a complete loss for Gamers 2. Yes, they gave up that kill in the top lane, but it is a mid turret, a mid outer turret for Gamers 2 in trade of that roam in the top lane. So at least they get the pressure in that mid lane. It will also allow them to get more vision down in the enemy jungle, because taking that mid outer turret will open up quite some paths to the enemy jungles without having that defense from the turret.
Well, I was pressing X to see the gold, but this is a bot, so...
Yeah, I do it sometimes too. It's like,
shame on
okay,
me.
I just want to look here to click. Oh wait, I'm pausing the video.
Oh, Smitty J getting really low, and this is the power of the true damage. And Smitty J will be forced to go back, walking into the lane once again, since he died twice in a row in like 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's not just only the heating style, the true damage from Rene that did the job. He got Sheen too, so that's just an immediate burst as well for being able to proc your Sheen proc with your Transcendent Blades, the ultimate of Aurelia. So you can just keep proccing that Sheen over and over again and just have that continuous burst. And that is where the heating style really gets strong too, just because you get that instant burst with consistent damage off true damage. And now Cubon is also looking to take this top turret.
And there we go, this will be the first turret of the game for Reason Gaming. Now completing the dagger. I believe she almost got to the gold to buy a Trinity Force with that extra kill. While Smitty J returning to the top lane, Zayo knows about this one, he's going to get the tunnel, the knockup as well. Lissandra is approaching the top lane and Smitty J, my goodness, getting so focused.
It was nice knowing you. It was definitely nice knowing you. But again, 3 men in this top lane, and so far Games 2 is not really able to get anything out of this. So it's just going to be a free pickup for Reason Gaming in this case. Yes, they will maybe be able to push out this mid. Dragon is down, so they cannot go for this dragon. And also look at the kill difference, 4-0. It is just a 1k gold lead, well 1.5 really. So these turrets and farm are doing wonders for them.
Okay, that ward was killed by Zed, and the direct camera really wanted to notice that one, but Zayo in trouble getting the death mark. You will be able to tunnel away. There's not much damage coming from that death sentence. The teleport by Cubon is there. They're looking for something. They want to lock down someone, and Aika is the target of attention, while the Transcendent Blades is almost going to kill him, but the Take will flash for the 5th kill of the game.
Yeah, that was perfect chain CC from Takefun. He went for the Frozen Tomb to just stun him. But before I go into this, it is going to be just a little bit poke in the bot lane, so I don't have to interrupt myself. So he went for the Frozen Tomb to just stun Eka, and then he waited for the stun duration of the Frozen Tomb, and then went for the root after, so he would not be able to actually go to his shadow. He was still able to, but they got enough damage down in order to just go for the flash ice shot.
Equalizer will force Zhonya's from Takefun is in trouble. There's no fun for him because Janna will secure the first kill for them.
Really, Hiva, did you have to take that one's first kill for your team and you get the shutdown as well? Come on, man.
Angry support.
Bloodlusty support. Well, at least he will be having a good chunk of gold in order to get maybe an early Mikaels in order to be able to cleanse away the Frozen Tube. I think that would be a great pickup for them. But I really wonder what they will be going for. The support might just be going for tanky stats as well, or maybe even just this into the talisman to get more movement speed out.
The bot lane, this will be a Blade of the Ruin King, so no Hurricanes. First item for Kalista. More and more we see Kalista's going for Blade of the Ruin King instead of the Hurricane, trying to get that 1v1 power spike on Kalista.
Well, I guess it's kind of the same principle as we saw first when Tristana was really a really popular pick, where you would either go, okay, yeah, you can either go for the Infinity Edge first or the Static Shift first. Static Shift first will give you more wave clear, so if you were not looking to skirmish, then I was like, yeah, okay, then I can just go get Static Shift, just keep pushing all these waves in. But if you want to skirmish more, you want to do more damage, then you would go for the Infinity Edge. I could say it's kind of the same for Blade of the Ruin King and Hurricane. Blade of the Ruin King gives you a bit more single target damage, so it's really nice to skirmish in, where Hurricane can push a lot harder.
Reason Gaming are looking for the second dragon for them, as an Ice Shard is going to deal almost 50% of HP on Hiva. Takefun will get knocked up into the air, but the missile will connect as well. The lantern will bring Takefun away. Zayo now getting burned by Speedy J. They will secure the vision and they will start the dragon as well. They have no fear of Reason Gaming, even though they are 5-1 in this game. Gilly is taking some damage from the dragon, and Absinthe is not going to connect, but the claw is dead. And Takefun will engage. Monsoon will disengage, but Gilmore will shut down that wind of change while he's going for the back line. Speedy J is really low, and Kalista will secure the kill. She's attacking non-stop, securing the double kill for Reason Gaming, and only Zed survives, and the dragon now is a consolation prize. Well, surprise.
Yeah, Salva, 4 HP. He didn't get touched at all in that fight, so he had all the room to get this full cleanup. It's a 4 for 2, and they get a dragon, and it's 3 kills. Onto Salva as well, so you will be getting that Hurricane quite soon. after his Blade of the Rune King. He already finished his Blade of the Rune King. So his power spike will be hitting soon together with that Hurricane and actually be able to respond towards the Trinity pickup from Jeebus.
They didn't respect that Blade of the Rune King completed. They lost a team fight. They didn't have fear, but now they will have a little bit. 9-3 on the scoreboard. So Smitty J returning to the top lane. He already completed the core items for Rumble. Now we can go for the defensive itemization, or maybe completing that Leanders as he just bought another amplifying top, or maybe going for the Zonias to try and sustain himself well.
Or maybe even Rylays. I mean, Amplifying Tom can still build towards the Rylays as well. And having an extra slow is quite important because your equalizer is the main lockdown of your team if you don't get an insect kick going. So your main CC, your main fight tool to get like the perma slow is with the equalizer. So early Rylai pickup would be important, but Cubon goes for the flank. Can they actually get this 2v3 going?
Because lately, Gamers 2 brought 2 guys to escort Speedy J, because if they weren't there, that would be the 5th kill of the game on Smitty J. They are just camping Rumble. They know he is the initiation. He is the constant damage on the team fight, so they want to keep him out of the game as much as possible.
Okay, finally there is the Hurricane pickup. I really wanted to see the gold count on Celevar. Like, how much gold did he get after the triple kill and all that farm in the bot lane. And he finally has his Hurricane. So I think he is ready to go for all these fights. And Reason Gaming also having a 24s on Cubon, as well for having a Zonias on top of the Frozen Tomb for take fun. I think they are willing to force these turrets out and actually force a couple fights here.
See what they can do with that dragon buff. Gamers 2 actually got a dragon as well, so they are not that behind in terms of objectives. Well, they need to take some turrets, they need to get some vision on towards the map, but here we go. Gillians will spot a ward and they will remove it.
There you go, there you go. Then they found it. They were looking for. Oh, there goes the equalizer. It's
on Celevar. That's 50% HP, that's not bad. They can go into the mid lane, but there's not an auto turret. They need to go deeper. They need to go for the tier 2 turrets. So they might get themselves in trouble because they are getting flanked by everyone of Reason Gaming. Cubon is going to engage. The Moon soon will disengage, however, but Chayo will slay Jana so far. And look at Celevar also attacking non-stop, getting those stacks going on. Take fun. Will freeze the ninja. Will it be enough? Aker pops him up and no, the Gromp! The Gromp killed Aker.
Wow, okay, and yeah, they got the 8. Where was the Zonias? Why didn't Take Fun use the Zonias? Maybe he forgot about it. But yeah, anyway, Equalizer was not up that fight because they tried to go for the pick on Celevar. So their main lockdown, like you mentioned before, was down. So going for this tier 2 turret was so risky because they couldn't fight. They couldn't go for the full team fight right there for the 4-on-4. So it was a Reason Game just able to flank them, get the engage off, and as well the 3-man knockup from the Fate's core with Libic was amazing to get that team fight going. So again, Celevar being able to do all that 3 damage to 3-0 and 4, as well for Cubon being 5-1 and 7. He has been part of 12 kills of these 14 kills. So Cubon definitely having a great performance in this game.
Great performance. He's tanky as hell now with the Bashi's Veil. Even on top of that, is he going to sustain himself in a team fight? That Gromp kill is still on my mind. And I wonder how long will it take to Kalista players bring Yasuo as a support?
Oh, that is definitely some airborne CC you would have there.
Yeah.
Wow. It started off.
Well,
yes.
Get it, man.
It started up with the knockup from the Steel Tempest from Yasuo, then get the immediate Fate's Core after that, so you would have like a double knockup. Then go for the last breath in order to get a triple knockup. Wow, that would be crazy to pull that off. Or maybe no, wait, Alistair doesn't work because he only has one knockup. But no, I don't really think it's viable. Anyway, it's going to be the Take Fun versus Smitty.
Smitty is burning up. He's on the red zone now, getting the shields. But look, Libic is there to assist, and Take Fun will get the kill. Well, Libic
Yoink, says says Levick. Yeah, they couldn't really risk of getting that kill away, or at least trade that for a 1-for-1. Take Fun should have hit that last eye shot in order to just secure that kill, but no. Levick just securing that for himself. He also wants a piece of the cake, you know, support sometimes. Also want a piece of the cake instead of just the icing.
He almost popped on the bot lane, however the damage by defense style is too much. Helios 1 versus Living is going to kick him near Jibas, but there we go, dinner call.
Yeah, also Ninja Tabi for Cubon negates quite some damage from Ika. Yes, it has a bit of armor, so it will be blocking some damage from the Shadow Slash and the Shuriken, but also Zed will be dealing a lot of auto attacks before the death mark will pop, so that will be definitely a good pick. Yeah,
target of attention while Helios is going too deep, and they got a kill on Zayo, so Gamers 2 getting something out of this one.
Yeah, so they take that pick up and maybe a little bit of a greedy dive onto an inhibitor turret. You just gotta play it slowly, you know, but at least they will be getting the dragon for themselves. I don't think that Games 2 will be able to respond to this one. They do have the Callista, so it's just an easy rent smite secure on that one. Now Aka goes down by Take Fun.
Back to the shadows, mates.
Back to the shadows. It's still Baron buff as well for recent games, so I think they will be keep looking for these pushes now that they took the third dragon. Yeah, the third dragon, so they have more movement speed right now. Take Fun though has to be careful.
He's going to take the equalizer, but flashing away the teleport by Cubon is there as well. Zayo may want to engage this one, and Salaman is still taking the turret. The kick, Bradley Sin is going to bring him back into the turret, but well, double kill for Cubon.
The minions were there tanking the turret as soon as sort of a left the turret range. So if only Gillies was a split second quicker, then the turret would have still been focusing Saliver, but that was not the case. Saliver escaping by a hair as well.
Now let's be honest, when your team is seeing the opponent's AD carry diving you, the inhibitor turrets, he's tanking the inhibitor turrets, man. The AD carry tanking the inhibitor turrets, well, not in trouble with them.
Yeah, that kind of gives a good indication of what situation you are at the moment. But yeah, what can games actually do to get back into this game? It is going to be hard because their mid-game power spike is already overtaken by Reason Gaming. So it's going to be hard. They really need to get the catches. But talking about catches, Take Fun has a catch on Jeebus.
Jeebus is still alive and the Zonyas will keep it alive. Take Fun will receive the missile. So there's your payback. You want to engage on me? Well, have this one.
Yeah, and I was just talking about how they can get into this game, back into this game. They need the catches, they need the picks in order to get a couple kills down here and there. Keep clearing these waves, and Take Fun giving a kill away will definitely help in that too. And yeah, the only lockdown they have is the equalizer, so that will be key in order to get these picks in their own jungle.
So in that equalizer, we do have Leander's completed, so a little percent of HP will be removed from everyone stepping on that equalizer. He didn't wait for the realize whatsoever.
Yeah, so yeah, Amplifying Tome of course also builds in that Leandries, but I'm still curious if he will be finishing off the Zonyas first, or if he actually goes straight into that Rylays. Because I would like to see that Rylays actually, it is the only form of lockdown, and you really need that type of lockdown in order to get these catches off. And catches has been definitely a word of the day in this game.
So let's see who can catch who, while Rek'Sai is going to clear on the ball.
Gotta catch them all. Catch them.
Well, Callista.
Yeah. Again, Callista.
It's always on my mind.
Always on your mind.
So, talking about Callista, she has finished that PT as well, so she's really powerful. Talking about power, Aka is in trouble. He's going to use the shadow in swap places. Teleport by Speedy J has come at the worst place ever.
Well, that didn't really turn out as planned, did it? The teleport.
No. Julius will try to get the kick, but he's getting low. Jeebus is the focus. Aka coming back with the death mark. Will they get the kill? No, Cubon getting the kill. They are finally able to lock down the support, but this is 3-for-1 so far. Jeebus trying to take Fun, and Take Fun will get the Zonyas and laughing away while getting Saliver assisting on the rampage. Triple kill as well. This is an ace, and Zayo was not even there.
Yeah, because look at the bot lane. He's just pushing that inhibitor turret, and he takes inhibitor turret, and he's willing to take that inhibitor as well. Still full ace, only 1 second for Smitty. Not sure if Zayo has enough damage to bring this inhibitor down before Smitty will join in. As well, the home guard comes down. Zayo dropping quite low from the Leandries, but look at top lane. There's also 3 men in this top lane. Q1 will be helping out in this bot lane right now for the inhibitor, so they take 2 inhibitors, both bot and top lane. Baron will be spawning in 8 seconds, so I think Reason Gaming will just be going back to the base, get a bit of shopper money. Or they have a bit of shopper money, I should say. They get a couple items for themselves and just go for the Baron. Maybe even a Dragon after, because that will give them the 4th sack of the Dragon Slayer stack. And that might be the point where they can close out this game.
So the both Thornmail bought by Zayo and Q1, so they're really tanky. They want to get this Baron. They're talking about 16,000 gold discrepancy between these teams. Well, 15 now that they farm a little bit, but still, that's a lot. That's 2 digits.
Yeah, it's just 30 minutes in, you know. It's not that late game where gold doesn't matter as much. It is still kind of the end of the mid game at this point. But look at all these items that Reason Gaming has. They have the benches, but they have the double thornmails, like you said, and they all have 2 to 3 core items, where Gamers 2 are just sitting on 1 or 2 maybe. So they have a clear disadvantage in items as well in gold and objectives.
And the next objective would be this Baron. When Gillis has been caught, the jungler is in trouble. He's going to save Quark. The equalizer is not the best, but he's going to lock down 2 members. Gillis is run away. Meanwhile, Salamar is going to get caught on the Baron pit, and Aika will remove him out of the fight. Rubble and Aika are dead whatsoever. This could be a nice. This isn't nice, only for the price of 1 best deal Reason Gaming could get.
Yeah, so they get the full ace. They should have enough time to just go in towards the mid lane. Even a teleport comes out on the minion, on the Nexus turrets. They will be taking these Nexus turrets. End of. It is 20 seconds before Gamers 2 will be respawning. So this is the win for Reason Gaming. We already see the relief from Smitty. There goes the Void Rush as well, because why not? You can do it. It is the end of the game. Minions will be helping spawning as well. Couple wards just for the swag. And it is Reason Gaming taking this first game of this week.
And with this, guys, I do hope you guys enjoyed this one, and we'll pass into the next one, Jivas. We still have a lot of work to do today, so if you enjoyed this one, just look at the description below to follow us.
We're doing both EU and NA, so it's quite some games we have to cover. But anyway, thank you guys very much for watching, and again, information all down in the description, and we'll see you in the next one.